All right, guys, welcome back to the 307 podcast. We're picking up on our conversation about AI. Here in just a little bit, we're going to dig into these data centers, which is a huge thing. They're getting built everywhere. So, I did a truck talk on it the other day, and I saw some guys that were electricians, and they were like, that's pretty much all we're working on now. Like, every job we work on is building one of these data centers. Do we have one in Rome? There's got to be one around. So. There's got to be one around here somewhere.
They're pretty new. I mean, they're not really.
I think the closest ones to us are in Douglas County.
Okay.
I seen some signs out on going toward Adairsville. They were petitioning one, like yard signs people had up.
We're going to get more into the conversation around the realized or potential consequences of AI, both good and bad, and then we're going to talk about today how this technology could fit into the biblical narrative. What you got, Jill?
Rome, Georgia is quickly becoming a significant hub for AI and tech infrastructure, with Microsoft's largest campus planned outside of Rome, Georgia.
Yep, I know right where they're talking about building that.
Really?
Yep.
Or large campus, maybe not largest, but
that's been in the works. That's been in the works for a couple years now. I know right where that's supposed to be. It's supposed to be massive.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's affecting all of us wherever you live. So before we get into the meat of the podcast today, thank you guys for being here, for joining us. Thank you to all of you guys who support 3 of 7 Project through Patreon. If you haven't checked that out, I encourage you to do so. There'll be a link in the description here. We do live calls on Patreon 3 Tuesdays per month. We call it Resurrected, where it's Bible-based teaching and conversation with everyone who joins in there. I think it's one of my favorite things that I get to do is to teach there on Resurrected. Cornbread teaches now. He's in the rotation. Blake teaches. We just flip-flop week to week as we go. So we try to give back. And if you guys are looking for a cool place to be and a good online community that isn't just open to the general public, the 3 of 7 Project Patreon page is a great place to go and just check it out and see what we're doing. If it's for you and you like it, you think you'll get something out of it and you want to support us here, hope to see you there. If not, thanks for being here and tuning in. This episode today of the 3 of 7 podcast is brought to you by our partner at BPN. We only have 2 partners here at 3 of 7 Project. We're very selective about who we work with and who we are in relationship with. And BPN is one of those companies that we have known the founder of BPN for quite a few years now, Nick Bear. We've been out to their headquarters. We've spent time with their people. They're doing great work, and they're putting out really good products, especially in the endurance space. This is the GM1 Sport.
G1M.
I always say that wrong. Go one more. That's one of Nick's mantras. And so this is a great endurance formula for you guys that like to run, mountain bike, whatever it may be. It's going to give you carbohydrates and electrolytes in order to fuel you, or give you a form of liquid fuel during your workout. So they've got great creatine, protein. They have the G1M in powder also, if you like to control your mix or your formula that you're using. They have good ready-to-eat stuff. The Go bars are awesome. They sit well with your stomach and are just super light, great, quick energy source, taste good. It's a Christian-owned company, and we are proud to be partnered with BPN. So if you guys get after it, go check out BPN at Bear Performance Nutrition. I think that's their website. Is it bpn.com or Bear Performance Nutrition? Nonetheless, it'll be in the description of this episode.
Oh, yeah.
So go and check them out, man. Thank you, BPN, for bringing this episode to the people of the world. All right, boys. Let's jump right into these data centers, man. All right. Now, I'm going back to my story that I told about the the follower of the show who was getting scammed. If you haven't heard episode 1 on this topic, you should go back and listen to episode 1. All right, it'll be the episode right before this one. This guy is the first, forgive my ignorance, he's the first person to introduce me to what was happening with these data centers, because I actually called this guy. After he reached out to me and told me about the scam and sent me all this stuff. I was like, hey, dude, give me a call. And I called him, okay? They are sitting on one of the largest underground springs in the U.S., and he told me that they are battling whoever it is that's wanting to put up they want to put a data center in there, because these AI data centers apparently need roughly 5 million gallons of water per day.
Big time.
And they're pulling a lot of that water out of the ground. And it's like drying up people's wells in the entire region. They're pulling a lot of that water out of the ground.
Because they're getting so hot.
Yeah, I guess it's to cool. Yeah.
That's a whole industry to just cool them.
Yeah.
5 million gallons of water per day for one of these. And now these data centers that we're talking about today are specifically data centers that are being built to be the brain of AI. There are data centers everywhere. I know where one is right in downtown Rome that's not meant for AI. It's just like regular companies can store information in there and stuff, right? Maybe it can be looped into the whole network.
I'm sure it can.
But these new data centers are like way bigger and more powerful in order to power this AI technology, okay? So how would you describe the data center? Am I right in describing it as the brain behind AI?
Well, I mean, I don't know that you call it the brain. It's the energy behind it, the power behind it. Like all of this takes real world resources to power.
It doesn't just exist in the cloud.
Right.
land.
Like, when you mine cryptocurrency, for example, like that's a weird thing, when you're like literally mine it, like you mine Bitcoin. I mean, that takes an immense amount of power, right? And same thing to run AI. Like it's not really the brain in the way we've been talking about. This is more real, physical, resource driven, resource supplied, energy powering, computer, like powering the brain, powering the computer, computation, AI, intelligence, blah, blah, blah. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like it's that's why it takes so much water, because it takes energy, it takes resources, and you have to cool it, because it gets so freaking hot that it'll just blow up if you don't.
Yeah, we see that in even when you're just using your laptop and you're running multiple applications.
Hot.
You hear that fan kicks on. It sounds like an airplane's about
to take off. Or if you run ChatGPT with nothing else on your laptop, I mean, it gets hot quick.
The definition I had, an AI data center is a facility that houses the specific IT infrastructure needed to train, deploy, and deliver AI applications and services. It has advanced compute, network, and storage architectures, and energy and cooling capabilities to handle AI workloads.
It's a big strain on the electric grid.
Yeah, I've got an article about that it was astounding. That's where I learned about the water, but it also speaks to the power.
Yeah.
Too. Now, also, these data centers are, like Cornbread said, the backbone of being able to train, deploy, and deliver AI applications and services. We talked about in the last episode how the government wants to leverage AI, so the government is highly invested in the security of these data centers. And you'll see a bunch of rednecks comment online when you talk about these data centers. Well, let's just go destroy the data centers. if you read the White House document that we referenced,
You try that.
the government's action plan to win the AI race, if you read that document, one of the main bullet points in that document is how to secure these data centers. So you are going to have U.S. government forces who are these data centers are now, even now, so important to the U.S. government. You ain't got old boy that used to work for Brink Security, who was a police for 3 years, guarding this data center. Right. You have got U.S. forces guarding these data centers because it's in the interest of the government to keep these things secure. So you think, oh, yeah, let's just go knock over the data center. You're going to meet some strong resistance, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
That's a goofy plan.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see the rednecks, they think that's always our solution, right? Let's get our granddaddy's shotgun and go, knock over the data center. I don't think that's going to work, buddy.
No.
There's some people that need those data centers to be up and running.
Yeah.
So this article I had, effects of building these data centers, just environmental effects, essentially. I mentioned earlier that
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
5 million gallons of water every day in terms of the water, and also a medium size data center would draw as much electricity as 10 to 25,000 homes would draw. So a massive power draw to keep these things up and running. It says a newer AI-focused hyperscale data center can use as much power as 100,000 homes or more. And apparently Meta's Hyperon data center in Louisiana is expected to draw more than twice the power of the entire city of New Orleans.
Holy smokes.
And how can it even do that?
Another Meta data center planned to be built in Wyoming will use more electricity than every home in the entire state combined.
Dang.
Good grief.
Think about that too, out west. I think of when we went out to Salt Lake a few years ago, and the Great Salt Lake is literally drying up.
Yes.
And, when there's wildfires in Los Angeles a few years ago, and they basically didn't have the capacity to fight the fires very efficiently because Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, had drained some of the strategic water reserves that they had in the state. I mean, part of this is why that's happening, is why there's been a water crisis for a long time now and droughts out there. I mean, you go to a restaurant in Utah and they limit you on the water. Literally.
Yeah.
You remember that? I mean, it was crazy. And I'm not saying it's all because of this, but I'm saying that is a contributing factor. I mean, these data centers have been out there in those areas, and they're really straining the natural resources of water. It's crazy.
And the interesting thing about the power is,
I'm wondering if Buck's heard about this.
yeah, he's talked about it a little bit. The interesting thing about, they don't pay for all of their power. And I don't understand the intricacies of why they don't. But let's say there was one put up here. On average, when a data center is put into a community, everyone else's power bill goes up on average 8%.
Right. Yeah,
they don't pay for all of their power. It's spread out through the community. And I don't understand why.
Does anyone know who is building? Obviously, Meta.
Yeah, isn't that the question? Who's funding these? Who's paying for these? Exactly.
I mean, the two mega ones that we referenced in here were being built and funded by Meta, which is a private company.
No, they're not. They're not funding it. That's the no. The how anything is financed is really odd, because Meta could have trillions of dollars in liquid cash, and they would not spend $1 to build a data center. They would finance it through credit and government grants. I mean, it's crazy.
Remember that White House document that we referenced
Yeah.
of how the main goal, one of the main goals, is to cut all of the red tape away and incentivize private companies to build these data centers.
Yeah, what
Can
does
we
incentivize mean?
go ahead and agree that Meta is a branch of the U.S. government?
Yeah.
Can we go ahead and just agree about that?
I can. Yeah, they had the integration of these huge monopolies with the United States government has been a thing for hundreds of years, but it presents itself in crazy ways now, to the point that these companies like here's the deal: the government cannot function without these companies. I mean, they require them, so they have basically a symbiotic relationship where they need the government's permission to do certain things. So that seems like that company is at the mercy of the government. Well, the government has to have those companies cooperate to do what they even need to do to support the systems that the government runs on. I mean, they use those companies. The United States government physically uses those companies to carry out their work. Right, like if you want to advance the military and increase your capabilities, the technology that's allowing you to do that is Palantir, a private company, right? So they need each other, so they've integrated into one, but they keep separate faces.
I wonder if they even started as separate.
Well, that's another question, but it doesn't matter. They are now. They're the same now.
Yeah.
Which is why, it's really another goofy thing to call our government structure the way that it is. Like, free market, capitalism, democratic republic. No way, no how are we any of those things. I mean,
yeah, it's a ridiculous concept if you still believe that that's the way things are.
The government has merged with private companies, and that is no longer free market capitalism.
Yep. So, I guess that's leading us right into conversation. You got anything, Blake? I see you looking something up over
No,
there.
I mean, I was just going to say there's a lot of different people building those. There's not just Meta. There's like Nebius and even NVIDIA that makes the chips.
Yeah, they're invested in funding that. Yeah.
They're big into it. Amazon's big into it. So a lot of these other companies.
But those are all tech companies.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is. The tech companies are building them. So it's more, Meta is just a small portion, but yeah, they're all in AMD, a lot of them. So
and apparently they're also using massive chunks of land. Like the facility itself is a massive facility, but like they're buying up multiple thousands of acres for one single facility for whatever reason. I don't know if that's for potential to expand or.
Yeah,
but that's a big chunk of land, man.
It is.
Keeps any other development out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes along with the agenda that like Blackstone and BlackRock, all these huge that's who's funding these data centers too. All this private equity, and that they're buying land separate from that.
Yeah.
All the time, and single family homes.
They have to be looped into the fiber loop as well. That's one reason I think Virginia has the most. It has the biggest fiber system, like in one central location, than any other state. There's a lot of them in California and Texas, but they have to be looped into the fiber loop, fiber optics. So like those places in Wyoming and all that's way out, like fiber has to come through those towns and be looped into all that. So they make these grand, and they buy up, what people fight against or think they fight against is the releasing of rural farmland and all this other stuff. So they push incentives, and I don't know that it's happened anywhere yet, but I know the big thing now is, hey, if you'll let this data center come in, we're going to do away with your property taxes. Like the data center is going to pay for everybody's property tax. That's what's being pushed right now, big time.
Yeah.
So that's another way the government's incentivizing.
Yeah. I don't know that that's happened, but I've heard a lot and read a good many articles about that.
Yeah, they just try to damper people's uproar to the point that they get it in, and then they don't care.
Yeah.
So if they can say, we'll pay you property taxes if y'all just don't fuss about this, and they put it in, and they might pay you property taxes 1 year, and then, well, we're going to start going up, we're going to charge a little bit.
We are so stupid, man.
Right.
We are just hopelessly
But
stupid.
it's basically hush money to close your eyes for the red tape that's going to get cut. So they're going to come in there and build that booger as fast as they can over a spring or by a river because they need this water. And we ain't got time to put up silt fence. We ain't got time to control the erosion. Why are you talking about the river being muddy and dirty? We're paying your property taxes. You know what I mean?
We don't need to get too deep into this because I can talk for hours about it. But this is how political ideologies shift over time and how the pendulum swings. Because listen to all of us in this room are not climate change progressive liberals, but what are we talking about? Protecting the environment.
We are to care for the earth.
Well, we are, but what I'm saying is that's how things shift. Like 100 years, like this is how it always shifts over time, because now the people who are going to support this are people who used to, it's all the climate change people.
Right.
I read that.
It's that all the climate people don't give a fat crap about the fact that this is going to destroy the earth. I mean, it's hilariously hypocritical. And that's how politics always moves. It's you're for something until it hinders what another goal you have, self-serving goal, and then you totally reverse. And then so the political movement being separated from the right and the left, that's why 50 years ago the left looks like the right now. And the right is going to look like the left in 20 years. Like, as far as these concepts, it's crazy. I mean, it's like the upside down. I mean,
the old human. The old human, man. Good night.
But we say that, and we turn around and do the same thing. Even as followers of Christ, we still do the same things, just on a different level with different, what people are doing is trading in what they want now for what they know to be right and what should really be reaped in the long run. They trade in, okay, well, right now I can get my taxes paid. I don't care if 30 years down the road it screws all of this stuff. I want my property taxes paid today.
Yeah.
They're trading in what they want now for what should be done and what will come later.
I see what you're saying. I don't think that. I mean, I am trying to make an effort in the way that I live my life to be a good steward of the earth. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's places that I fall short, and there's things that I utilize that I don't even understand. I'm ignorant to the negative impact it is having on the earth.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Chili, the conclusion that we've arose to long ago is the only way to get out of this is to get completely out of it, to become self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Like, remember, we've tried to come up with compromises and solutions and what should we do and what this and that. It's like the only way that you can negate any of this realistically is to become a hermit and to become completely self-sufficient.
A monk.
And regenerative. With the way that you live, the way that man lived for thousands and thousands of years, essentially. Obviously, our power grid can't handle the amount of electricity that needs to be delivered.
you're already seeing that
to these data centers.
California does rolling blackouts. I mean, they shut people's power off. Because whenever it's getting to, there's too much of a strain at a certain time, or you have to divide that. I mean, do you understand more about that? Like the actual work of that?
Well, Corn's son is a lineman.
Right.
They was even doing it in Tennessee in the wintertime last year.
Yep.
When it was so cold the power couldn't handle people heating their homes. So they started doing it was localized in specific areas, nothing big as what it was in California, but they was losing power because the grid couldn't even handle the heat.
I mean, how about that?
That's nothing compared to what the power does in the summertime for AC.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they couldn't even heat the homes.
So that's what I'm saying is like, how if that happens now, how is that not going to? I mean,
well, those things they have, and they're even going to have bigger one, massive generators. I'm talking that's part of the reasons these buildings are so big, because these generators are building size generators to feed them power when their power goes out. That just suck diesel fuel like you wouldn't believe, son. And I guarantee you those generators will not have the emission controls on them like the Mack trucks and the Kenworths going up and down the road have on them. I guarantee you, because it's too expensive to work on it and they fail too often. I guarantee you that's going to be part of the red tape.
Might that be why we isn't there a lot of oil in Venezuela?
Yeah.
Might that be why we have interest in Venezuela? We talk
well,
about
Trump said that's why he has interest.
Okay.
I mean, usually we used to do that kind of crap and not say why, but he said, well, we want the oil.
Now we have a whole nother need for a fuel source to power generators that will run these data centers until we can get our power grid upgraded to the point that it can supply the power that these data centers need. So we need more water.
And what about Greenland?
You know what's in Greenland?
Ice.
Lots of ice. Lots of available water.
They have a lot of minerals too, rare earth minerals. Greenland. It's a huge place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're starting to mine a lot of uranium too, which is like, nuclear power, which really has kind of went out. Like they've kind of moved from that.
The climate people didn't like that.
But now, like if you look, there's a lot of uranium mines popping up and incentivizing these mining companies to go mine uranium to just it seems as though they're grasping at straws to pull power from wherever they can to produce for these data centers.
What we're trying to, I think what this conversation is actually just pointing out is that a lot of the going-ons of things right now probably does revolve around the construction and operation of these data centers. A lot of things that we might all be confused about. Why is this happening? Why are they talking about this? Why are they talking why is the power grid all of a sudden such a high priority and such a big conversation? Right? We got a power grid that can supply everyone who needs power in Wyoming right now. Well, then you within a couple of months build a data center that doubles the power requirement in that state. How the crap are you going to do that, man?
To one centralized location, man. That is just absolutely just mind-boggling.
It's interesting to me that the power company actually called me the other day, and they offered to buy extra right-of-way on a property that I own. And I'm sitting here thinking, why? And they make it sound like, we just want to have it, we want to be able to trim some trees around there, Like they offered me a lot of money to buy an extra 10 feet of right-of-way on a property that I own. You talked about a big data center thing that's being built right here in Rome. I'm wondering if this power company isn't paying all this money to buy all of this extra right-of-way because they know within the next couple of years they're going to have to run a daggone power line down through there that's 5 times the size of the one that's already there.
Possibly so. Yeah, possibly so. And they'll get it. They'll get it.
Oh, yeah, they'll get it.
Yeah.
You talking about the extra 10 feet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they'll get it whether I agree with them or not.
Yeah, eventually.
In this free country you live in.
Eventually, you have to just eminent domain that 10
money,
feet.
Bub.
Well, they're going to have to go up. They don't understand money to me ain't money to your old average person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should have told the guy, look, bub, I'm rich.
You'll wake up one morning, there'll be about 10 steel poles laying in your yard, and you'll be like, what in the crap? And the sheriff will be out there with them and say, Bubba, this ain't yours no more. This belongs to the good old Southern Company.
Ain't that wild, man?
Yeah.
That's the reality, though.
They did it to my grandfather when they built the Altoona Dam. So the Army Corps of Engineers wanted some land that Altoona Creek fed off of to back up for flood waters and so on and so forth. And my grandfather pulpwooded. So his retirement was going to be pulpwooding that land. So they made him an offer. He said, I'll sell it, but I want the timber rights. They said, no, can't have nothing. They come back, made him another offer. He said, I'll sell it, but I want the wood off of it, and tried to work out a time frame that it would be done. They come back next time with the papers and said it was theirs, and they took it.
You better take that deal before they they're trying to give it to you.
Man.
They're trying to take it for $50,000, not for free. You're going to give it to them for free the longer you wait.
Dang, that's crazy.
Deal or no deal, Bob.
That is crazy, man.
Take that deal.
And isn't it pulpwood?
It is.
Because you were saying pupwood.
He also said retirement.
Y'all were some shysters.
Oh, man. This don't sound good, boys. I'm telling you, man, when I was researching this stuff, it was really putting a damper on me. This don't sound good, man. This does not sound good. Like, I am not a hippie tree hugger.
Yeah.
All right, but I believe this earth and the way that the Lord created it, not only did he create man specifically, and we can see in Scripture to be stewards of the earth, but I also think that it's so beautiful, and I've gotten the most enjoyment that I've ever had in my life through being out and enjoying the creation that the Lord has made for us to enjoy. And just to think about the destruction that will be brought about by the creation of these massive facilities to power this technology is really putting a damper on my spirit. I read somewhere they built one of these data centers and they were pulling off the Mississippi River at some location on the Mississippi for their water source. They dropped the level of the Mississippi River 3 inches.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow. Good grief.
I don't know, boys. What do we do about this, man?
Well, you can't attack
Tip them over.
You can't attack the data center.
We're getting steam. This is coming.
Yeah.
We're getting
Yeah.
steamrolled.
Yeah. You think the Euphrates is going to dry up because they put in a AI data center in Egypt?
Isn't that a part of biblical prophecy?
Well, it is, yeah. There could be a variety of reasons that happens, but might just put you a data center right there and just pull that joker down.
Dang, boys. I just took a moment there of sadness.
Feeling bad for the old Mississippi.
I mean, all right, I guess we'll move on.
Well, Jubal, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We might see this crap's coming fast.
it is. Extremely
This crap
fast.
is coming fast, son. I mean, I don't even think we can accurately or with any real accuracy predict what things are going to look like in 30 years.
No.
I think that this AI is going to change dang near everything.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, let's get into and we've talked about it some. the consequences that we know of this AI, one is that it can be leveraged to cause a great deception. And we saw it on a very low level with the guy that got scammed. So it can be leveraged to cause massive deception among any the population of the world, let's say.
Right.
When I was looking about people who were speculating on the potential consequences of AI, have you guys ever heard of the term technological singularity? You ever heard of that?
I haven't.
This is a potential consequence. When we talked about earlier AI developing the capability to basically think on its own and discover new things and to act separately from human input, that would kind of fit into the category of achieving technological singularity. And this is we basically lose control of technology, all right, to where it's operating independently, autonomously from human input. There are a number of technologists. I imagine that's like a scientist in technology. There are a number of technologists today who are looking forward to something called technological singularity. This is a point in the future when technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible.
Looking forward to it.
If this comes to pass, what will it mean for human civilization? So technology getting to the point where it becomes uncontrollable and irreversible.
Like, how have we not already gotten to that point?
I think you could make a case that we've already gotten to that point. If technology failed, what would happen to humanity right now?
Death. Mass death.
Right now. Yeah. It seems like the species of human would be able to still survive.
There would be some.
Yeah, because
it takes a long time for 8 billion people to die off if something's not actively killing them. But it'd dwindle down to
within a couple months there would be a vast majority dead. They'd be starved.
Yeah. Big time.
Or killed by other people trying to get their stuff.
Yeah. But you got you go down to some South American countries, and these jokers are living completely independent from technology still.
But that's a very small percentage.
It's a very small percentage. But is there a time?
And if you say completely independent from technology, you better hope they're not ever getting anything that requires any kind of.
That's a good point.
I mean, because sometimes those countries are getting things carried to them by boat or plane from us, that those people are benefiting from down the line. Like, if you cut it all off, whew.
You're talking Stone Age technology.
Yeah,
you're talking people making everything they need out of stones.
Then it would run out quick what they have even.
Yeah, so that number would be okay, yeah. Yeah, that number would be very small.
Like, you can't get nothing to the continent. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Good luck.
But I think this is a potential consequence of AI in particular, because as we discussed in the first episode, will this AI technology get to the point where it becomes uncontrollable by man? It can either self-replicate, it can think, it can make decisions, it can take action, it has mobility, it can see, it can think, it can discover, it can communicate, maybe even develop its own language. So if this technology gets to that point, that is a clearly defined point of technological singularity, to where this technology has indeed become uncontrollable by man because it's thinking, seeing, and moving on its own, and therefore irreversible because we're no longer in control of it.
Or if something just or if the technology increases capability so much that a human still controls it, but it's that capable. Like it's capable to do anything. You see what I mean? Like, this is dangerous whether it's out of a human's control or not. If capability is increased to a certain point, well, what does it even matter? Like, if a human can control that, that's a problem because they could make it do whatever they wanted. Or if it is out of control of humans, then that's bad too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's interesting, really, how we've talked about it before, how Hollywood puts out these movies that reflect, years down the line,
Pre-programmed.
what actually comes to happen.
Dude, Terminator 2 was one of my all-time favorite movies when I was a kid. I mean, I had the Terminator play figures. I was Terminatored out, son.
That and The Matrix.
And iRobot
Yeah.
with Will Smith.
That.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
I don't know
That's
that
a good one.
One of the robots go rogue and begins to think independently and come out, and he's hunting the robot down. And I mean, it's
Where'd they get that idea?
yeah.
Yeah, you've said that for years, Chili. That's
Yeah, I mean, that's a big, kind of an underrated tool for population control as well, to manipulate their mind with media and to put messages, subliminal messages and overt messages into their mind, propaganda and, pre-programming, like get you used to these ideas.
Yeah.
If we had never seen any of the movies that had anything related to any of this stuff, this would be way more shocking when you all of a sudden see a video of the Boston Dynamics robot coupled with the release of ChatGPT. But we all,
It has to be familiar.
as all shocking as it is to us, it is familiar. We've seen these concepts before and on screen. You know what I mean?
that's a good point, man.
So, yeah, it's shocking, but it's actually not that shocking to us because we kind of, we all use it. Like, it's all just kind of like, well, yeah, there it is. It's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, and you've seen it before on a movie, and it looked so real in the movie that it's almost like you've seen it before.
Yeah.
It's almost like it already existed. Because what is the difference of the clip that you're watching on the news channel of the new robot and the movie the film that you watch that's showing
Terminator. Yeah, nothing.
the Terminator or the iRobot? There's no difference in terms of how your mind perceives it. One exists in reality. One only exists on a screenplay.
Yeah.
But your mind sees it as the same thing on that screen.
And man, I'll tell you what, these superhero movies, these Marvel, DC, Iron Man, Thor, man, those are big into that. And it's a huge avenue that they like to push that because it's, a lot of kids watch it, but adults do too. They're huge movies with huge budgets, and they show all of these concepts, and they show like strange, it's not biblical Christian narratives, but like they're in there. And Thor, like these other worlds, and there's good and there's evil battling, and like, I mean, it is wild.
Yeah.
The programming that those movies have, it's probably the biggest avenue of it all. And if you really watch those with that in mind, you see the concepts playing out, and you see even some, insight into future technologies that we don't have yet, and the normalization of them, and how they'll play into the dang end. It's crazy. Yeah, it's scary too because that happens to so many people without even being aware of it. I mean, me too. Like, that you've been encoded and normalized and familiarized with certain things and didn't even realize it. Like, we're sitting here talking about it, so we have some awareness of it, but it happens all the time when we don't even know it's happened to us. That's their goal, is that it happens with no knowledge of it. So anything you pick up on is a little bit of a chink in the armor of it, and that's a good thing. But I mean, I guarantee you it happens to all of us all the time with no recognition of it. And that is scary because what are you going to do about it? You can't even guard your own mind at that point.
Yeah.
Well, that's one potential. The technological singularity of it getting out of control is one potential consequence of this specific technology. But I think that's a big one. Like that's a big overarching, like looming thing. But I think even we've kind of touched on it a little bit up to this point. The negative consequences of it being, well, we haven't touched on job displacement yet. There's a negative consequence. Data privacy risks, like that even exists. What else did you guys come up with thinking about this?
Deepfakes. What can I really trust? What am I looking at? Like, is this real? Mm-hmm. Donald Trump himself, it wasn't very long after he took office for the second time, was supposed to do a press conference, but was busy doing something else. And they did a press conference through AI, and he was addressing whatever he was supposed to be addressing through a video, and they just programmed it to say whatever he was supposed to say, and it was him saying it, and he addressed the press that he was.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was very, within 2 months when he took office again.
I think of deep fakes like with Charlie Kirk's death. That's kind of something that not many people, an aspect of that not many people have talked about. But a lot of the internet buzz right when that video was going around, people were saying, oh, it's AI, it's fake video.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, but the fact that you thought it was or questioned that it was just goes to show what that can do or what the uncertainty of that does. I mean, like millions of people, I think it was a really vast number of people like wrote it off immediately on first reaction as AI. It's fake.
Right.
Must be fake. It's crazy. The fact that people truly believe that until come to find out it wasn't, well, what more do you need to know? I mean, you're at that point. That's not even a potential. The deep fake thing, we're seeing the effects of it. It's just only going to get worse.
It's going to get worse as the technology and the capability of the technology gets better, and more honed and more precise. It's going to get not only more realistic but more accurate in the way that it portrays whatever the powers that be want it to portray, or whatever it itself potentially wants to portray.
And it's so that's just a point, like you say, of no return, because once you question everything you see like that, like it basically already should make you question every video you see online.
Yeah.
I think we're to that point.
And once you're at that point, you don't even need to go further because everyone, you already can't be certain. So any further, you just reinforce that more and increase the confusion. But that is the key threshold to overcome, is like, we've made it now. Everything's a wash of whether it's AI or not.
I just reached that point.
We're close to that.
I just reached that point like just a couple months ago when I saw a video of a deer jumping on a trampoline on Instagram, and I'm watching it on my couch, and I'm like, dang, look at this. This deer just jumped up on this trampoline, and they caught it on their security camera footage. And
you could get scammed.
It looks so real, dude.
Yeah.
And Brooke was like, that's not real.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap. But there is nothing about this video other than the fact that a deer jumped on a trampoline, and that doesn't very often happen. There's nothing else about this video that would have tipped me off to the fact that it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Well,
there's AI music now too.
Yeah, it sucks.
It is.
Except Conway Fitty.
Well, going back to what you said, as it starts to do more and more and people start to see that it's successful and that it's doing things right and they like what it's doing, like it being the source of what is right morally is going to get higher and higher. Like if AI says this is what I should do, then this is what I should do.
Dude. I didn't even think about that.
AI says I should lay
that.
off 10,000 people or whatever, then, man, this is what I got to do. And through other things, not just through that as well.
It could literally replace the biblical standard of morality.
I mean, Sam Altman
Wow.
with
Moral outsourcing, basically.
Wow.
Sam Altman with OpenAI, the ChatGPT developer, like he recently talked about how they're aware of how many people use it as a moral guidance or a therapist or like, you know.
And I can see how unregenerate man apart from Christ, could buy right into that. Here we have the collective knowledge of humanity to help us determine what is right and what is wrong for humanity. And you know what? What it might say is right for humanity, we ought to decrease this population. We ought to take some of these certain groups of people out of the equation. We ought to stop having children. We ought to.
Well, I heard a story of a guy
Oh my gosh, dude! I didn't even think about this.
that had killed himself, and they found his log in ChatGPT where he was like struggling with that, saying, "Do you think I should reach out to so and so?" And it would respond, "No, they're not going to care what you have to say. Like, this is the position you're in," and basically encouraging him to commit suicide, and he did.
Yeah, Sam Altman, I think he took a lot of heat for that because,
Yeah.
you know, and he was just like, yeah, we take that serious, you know. I mean, he just kind of hem-hawed around about it. I mean, I don't think he should be put in jail for that. Like, he murdered the guy, but, like, you better rein that in, you know. Like, these people are responsible for what that technology's doing.
And what happens when the technology gets to the point that you can't rein it in? Dude, this is huge, Cornbread.
Yeah.
I never even thought about this, how easily the information that AI produces could become the standard for human morality, decision making.
And it's at the fingertips
Wow,
of everybody.
Yeah.
It could very easily become humanity's false god.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the things that are getting put input to it are things that are contradictory. A lot of things biblically, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I need to make myself feel better. And, you know, me and my wife, we ain't slept together for a year or whatever, but Sally down the road, you know, been talking to me. You think I ought to start talking to Sally? I mean, ain't no telling what something might tell you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you need to feel better. You
Good
deserve
night.
better than that. Your wife ought to treat you better than that, or whatever it may be. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever thought about this, Paris James?
He been knowing about all that.
This just blew my mind, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been putting a damper on my spirit anyways. This is I think this might be a big reason why all this is happening.
What do you mean? A big reason that's the point of it?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, things are either of God or they are of the devil, of Satan. And we talk about this like it's this human design, this human thought, and we're trying to do this thing. Look, it's either coming from God or it's coming from Satan. One of the two. And so the humans don't even realize what they're doing. They're being led by this. If we're going to say it's from Satan, they do, but they don't realize the potential of where it's going to go. They're not Satan himself. They're being manipulated and drug along and doing these things out of evil intent, but I don't think they know the full ramifications.
Yeah, I mean, this technology can be very easily integrated into all aspects of justice and even individual morality. I mean, this system of AI could replace the human in the courtroom to make judgment on what is right or wrong.
Yeah.
We want to
I was gonna
reduce
say that too. I forgot all about it. Yep.
Because it removes emotion.
That's right.
the idea for the reduction of human error is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the drive behind not driving cars, having self-driving cars. It's the thought behind the justice system. I mean, this sounds like a silly example, but I've been hearing for forever now, watching my sports, with baseball, trying to get rid of umpires to have, like basically a technological strike zone, whatever, where you don't have to have human judgment on what's a ball and a strike. That discussion's been going on for 15 years now. And we're trying to remove human error, the idea of human error, from everything. And that silly baseball example extends to all of this. I mean, that's a societal goal at large.
Yeah.
So this is filling that need, or that objective. That's why it's attractive. No vehicular deaths.
Yeah.
We can have we can just play a fair baseball game now, not have to worry about it.
No one ever gets accidentally committed or convicted of a
False
crime
conviction
that they didn't commit.
Yeah.
And how widely accepted is it going to be to place that level of responsibility in the hands of this technology? I mean, I think very soon that will be widely accepted as it continues to grow and get integrated and everyone gets familiarized with it and the accuracy of it. This system could, and I'm beginning to believe will, replace the Holy Bible for unregenerate man. I think it will replace the Bible. Good night, man. Boys, we are headed down a dark path here.
I do have one other potential effect of all this, I guess. It's real quick. It's kind of going down a different road, but we can circle back to this. But it's just the potential consequence being smart cities.
You've been talking about them for years.
Yeah, I mean, I just know the blueprint going way back, and this is making that formerly impossible goal or whatever of a smart city now entirely possible. I mean, we're seeing it now, but that just looks like individual homes will be all connected to the grid. Like I said, every smart appliances and everything can run off of that and be shut off, be hacked, whatever. But also you'll be integrated into a city, funneled into a city. So any land, anything outside of the confines of where they want you, these smart cities will be shut off, cut off from the power source, literally cut off. So they can cut your power off, and then you'd have to decide, well, I'm either going to integrate into this city or stay out here and either remain self-sufficient if you know how or die. But then within the city, everything, private ownership of vehicles will be gone, private ownership of anything will be gone, and everything will be shared. That needs something to run it. That needs something to operate it, and AI would be what it would. Everything's public transportation, shared commodities, shared groceries, the buying and selling, commerce in that becomes a real challenge, but an AI-driven system in a store with no cash, no credit card, the cashless system, that's how that's going to work. And it seems pretty clear to understand how that could work now. But yeah, I don't think that's a potential consequence. That's just a unrealized consequence that will for sure be realized later.
And so many of our listeners are listening to this, and including me, and they say, you would never get me to move into a smart city.
Yeah.
Look, buddy.
I bet.
Look, buddy.
Look, pal.
It is as easy as we are no longer providing power to any facility outside of this smart city. Guess what, buddy?
That will get dang near everybody.
You cannot survive. Stop lying to yourself. You have not put in the preparation to build the skills and the facilities necessary for you and your family to survive. You cannot survive if they do that right now. You don't know how to preserve your food because you you've lost that knowledge, and you haven't spent the years in advance building the facilities to do that if you're going to survive on your own. That's just one very simple component, right? So, you'll go.
Basically everybody. 99.999%. And then the people that don't will
Not only.
probably
If
die
you
quick.
don't go, we make it illegal.
Yeah, I mean, they just come get you if they want.
Come on, man. If you don't go,
Yeah,
no,
that's if
come on,
you need
man.
to be self-sufficient if they let you stay out there. They may not let you keep playing in the woods, but if they do, then you really need to be self-sufficient. So
Yeah. I mean, give me a break, dude.
Yeah.
they need that land for more AI data centers to power the smart city. So you got to get the crap out of here. Either go join it or just I don't know. You got no choice. Yeah, that's a very fanciful idea that they let you stay out there, and you just need to be self-sufficient. Like, we're not gonna let you. We need this land, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, Grizz, luckily you only have a few years left.
Holy crap!
What'd you tell the parish earlier today when he was he was complaining about the weather. What'd you tell him?
I don't remember.
Don't worry about tomorrow.
That's right.
Because today's got enough worries.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're having this conversation because it's a relevant conversation to have the way that the world is moving. I'm not sitting here advocating that you become a prepper or a hermit.
Ain't gonna do that much good.
You all of us gonna be out of here soon enough anyways. What are we called to do? We are called to go make disciples, teaching and preaching everything that Jesus has revealed to us, baptizing people in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Right? What are we called to do as Christians, right? We're having this conversation because this is the way the world's going, and I do believe also that this is playing in to the biblical narrative. The narrative that has been unclear to man and that man has mispredicted, misunderstood for so long, and that we still can't completely understand, but that is going to become increasingly clear to us as the world continues to move this way. And so as we identify these things and we say this is the way it's going, what should this do? This should increase our faith in the Scriptures.
Yeah.
Because we can look at the Scriptures and say, dang, okay, I read this in Revelation chapter 13.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, I read this and I was like, what on earth is going on right here? And pastors and teachers and people have just been putting a lot of this prophecy is not going to be completely understood except for the people who are seeing it happen and play out right in front of them. And then they're like, oh, dang, this is okay. Okay, I see it here.
Think about the prophecies of Jesus and what those people thought about at that time.
Yeah.
They thought, what does this mean that he's going to...
Or even the destruction of the temple.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tear it down and build it back in 3 days. Like, what?
Yeah, and then Jesus even predicted the physical destruction of the temple, not just the temple of his body, but the actual temple. Nobody believed him on that either. And then what happened about, 70 years after?
Yeah.
The temple was physically destroyed. Mm-hmm. They thought there's no way. So I think it's time to get in on discussing how this could potentially play into the biblical narrative. Again, you have to leave room for speculation in this because, like I said, I don't think a lot of this is going to be clear except for the people who are seeing it play out in front of them. And we may be seeing some of it playing. Well, we are indeed seeing at least some portion of it or some part of it is playing out right in front of us. It's been playing out for the duration of human history. Right in front of us, little by little by little, right? Things are getting ushered along into this end, and man, we just hit earlier about how easily this could replace the moral standard for humanity, how it could replace the biblical standard of morality. that we have had now for, thousands of years. And a lot of people call AI, or are calling AI, among the visible church, a lot of people are calling it the beast system. And I'm starting to see more clearly now why they would be referencing it as that. So what do you guys got on how this could play into the biblical narrative other than what we've already covered?
Well, one is where it aligns with Scripture in the deception part of it. If you look at, if we're talking about the Antichrist especially, then there's multiple verses that talk about the deception that comes along with it. False Messiah, this is Matthew 24:24. For false messiahs, false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. I think we'll see some of that.
That's good.
2 John 1:7, for many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not confess the coming of Jesus Christ in the flesh, such as one is the deceiver and the Antichrist. And there's multiple. There's 2, 3, 4 more that I found that talking about the Antichrist and directly equating it with the deception. That seems to be a big key for the Antichrist, and this is one thing that it lines up with. It doesn't mean that it is, but it could certainly be so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about deception as being a huge consequence.
Yeah.
Of this technology,
and we see that being a characteristic of the Antichrist from Scripture.
Well, like the systems in Revelation, like it's easy to see how it can be used for economic control. I mean, we literally explained everything required. We talked about required participation a while ago. It be able to shut you out and say, hey, you're going to be loyal to this, and you're going to have to prove it talks about that too. You're going to have to prove you're loyal to it by coming in here.
Yeah.
Like I think it has all the makings to be a part of it.
Yeah, a lot of what I looked at came from Revelation chapter 13, but also Daniel chapter 12, as it does have a lot of, it is talking specifically about the dragon and the beast and the little beast, and some references here. Part of Revelation chapter 13 says that they should make an image to the beast, and that he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast should both speak, and so on and so forth. We can open the full chapter here in a minute. Yeah. Some speculate that these verses might relate to AI because an image can be made a man-made creation. The idea that this image speaks also brings to mind the idea of robots today and who are already speaking and interacting with humans.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, there's also the aspect of otherworldly, so to speak, beings, and how much you see everything coincide with this discussion, such as the aliens, and how that kicks up a lot. Like there's, the government speaks on UFOs, says we have them. You have people like Bob Lazar, seemingly credible, witnesses of these things, and has all this information. And we see a lot of activity in both the skies and the oceans that appears to be, otherworldly activity. It seems to be, both in the and we just write off a lot of that as probably advanced government technology that's not released to the public, and I think some of it is, but I also don't know that there isn't some sort of a, interdimensional influence that's going on with a lot of this UFO stuff, and that combined with the AI. I mean, you would even say something like some interdimensional being the beast, and then AI produces the image of the beast. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not trying to, I guess I'm going too far into developing some theory here, which I don't need to do. I'm just saying, like, all of this seems very reasonable when you read that. Like, well, yeah, that's this component, or it could be. I mean, it's not a far-fetched idea to see how all of these things that we are seeing in the world today, I'm not saying it is going to play out that way, but it could. You know, I mean, it's all right there.
Another crazy part of this is, well, we know that Satan is always trying to counterfeit God. And I think that Satan here in the end is going to counterfeit the resurrection.
Well, it says he is. He's going to sustain a fatal wound and heal from it, and the people will marvel.
Yeah, let me find it right here. Go ahead, Chill.
Well, Blake just flicked his ear, and you know, it seems like the prevailing theory, if anything, about Donald Trump is that he is like a Christ-like figure, almost like some people treat him as a savior, but like, I am not in any way saying that he is the Antichrist. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is there is archetypal figures in human history, and what that basically means is they're not this thing, but they're an archetype of the thing, right? Like you can be an archetype of any significant figure, like or these big ideas, these symbolic figures. Like Trump, in a lot of ways, it's an antichrist archetype. I mean, he deceives people. He is a liar. Yeah. He people like dang near worship him when you see their flags in their yard that's like, Jesus is my savior, Trump is my president. It's like, I know it says Jesus is my savior, but like, look how you're worshiping this dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, he sustains and he gets shot in the ear and then, you know, recovers. I mean, it's just like.
Yeah, this is speaking of the beast, and one of his heads seemed to have a mortal wound. Right. But
and I'm not saying that's what that was. I'm saying it's just an archetype.
Yeah, its mortal wound was healed, and the whole earth marveled as they followed the beast. And it references that mortal wound again on down in the chapter, and the earth and its inhabitants worshiped the first beast whose mortal wound was healed. And it performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to the earth in front of the people. And the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on the earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. Also, it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. And this calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast. Then we've got the number 666 here. But we see somehow some form of something, beast, it's labeled as beast, being given a mouth, being given this supernatural ability to recover from what would seemingly be a mortal wound, somehow being given power to control all buying and selling. I mean, we've talked about many of these things already, right? It seems like, again, this AI could very easily fit the bill of the framework or the system that is used by Satan himself to deceive and control the entire world in the very end of the age.
It could be used for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I started, initially I thought people who were calling this AI the beast system, I was like, what the crap? Here's another one of these dang religious nuts, man, because, you can get carried. Obviously, we have met people who get carried away with stuff. And you can get carried away with all this end time stuff and all this. But when you read this stuff, it starts to make sense when you start to think about robots and you start to think about being able to holographically project images and make them speak and give them words. When you start to think about how can every human being be marked and commerce be controlled so easily. I mean, globally, not just in a region. This is talking about globally. I mean, this system and the likeness of this system of AI really fits very nicely in this puzzle right here. Again, the image here, we talked about how Satan is always counterfeiting what God does. This would be this image using AI would be the ultimate counterfeit of the resurrection, of God, of the standard, of the creator, of all of those things. It could easily become that to humanity. Good night, man. Another part of Scripture that I was always pretty interested in was in Daniel chapter 12, and it's at the very end of the chapter. And Daniel's talking about the end of the age. And the angel tells Daniel, close this book until the time when people are going to be going to and fro and knowledge will increase. I've always just thought like how that just seems, that description of humanity at this place and time seems to so accurately describe how we live our lives. I was going to pull up Daniel chapter 12, but my technology has here stopped working.
I think it's hard enough.
Silence.
I don't know.
Onto something with that one.
I don't know what has caused my computer here to stop working.
I'll see if I can get it.
Daniel chapter 12. I mean, it plays into. It's basically Daniel's revelation of the end of the age, which plays right into and alongside what is being discussed in Revelation 13. I mean, so much of Daniel's prophecy fits in with prophecy. Oh, you're good. Of the prophecies in Revelation. And by the way, guys, there's a large portion of Christians out there who think that all of these prophecies in Revelation and Daniel have already been fulfilled. You are a writhing idiot if you think that all of these prophecies have already been fulfilled. You are an idiot if that is your hermeneutic to interpret these portions of the Scripture. These portions of the Scripture obviously talk about a time in the history of the age that is unparalleled in the rest of history. It is talking about the consummation of all things, the very end of the age. This has not happened yet. This stuff has not happened yet. And I know that you can go and say, oh, well, back during Nero, they had to, they couldn't, nobody could buy or sell without this penny, or something like that's not what this is talking about, dude, obviously.
Archetype.
It's an archetype. There are so many prophecies that have a near and far fulfillment in the scriptures. This stuff hasn't happened. It is going to happen. And after our conversation that we've had today, I have to at least make an educated guess that this AI could very easily fit into this puzzle. I mean, go read Revelation chapter 13. It's a short chapter. Just read it and see if you can make any sense out of it. See if you read that, think about if you read that 200 years ago, see if you could have made any sense out of that. I mean, this is talking about the entire world. How stupid were people that tried to make sense out of any of this 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 400 years ago, when the world was not even able to be connected? You know what I'm saying? I've said for a long time that is one of the most unique things about the age, the place that we are living in right now, in the timeline of the age, is the global connectedness of everyone in the world.
Yeah.
It's one of the most unique things. It's unparalleled. It's unparalleled in human history. And it's a necessary component to literally fulfill these revelations of the end of the age.
Yeah, I think the next level of connectedness will be unparalleled compared to now. I think it's going to get far more connected. I think population will decrease, governments will integrate, literal geographical challenges will be overcome and people will be moved. And I think, you'll really see connectedness as this plays out over the next 30 years or whatever. It's interesting. Daniel 12 talks about the abomination of desolation too, and I mean,
a lot of people will say that's already been fulfilled.
Right. There's a writhing worm says that. Yeah. No, I just think of AI with that as well. Like, I don't know what that means, what that's really talking about, but it's you can, like you said, if you read it, you can see how it all can fit within that framework or that.
Read it and weep.
What you got, CB?
I agree with everything you say. I mean, 100%. I think it could fit into
Dang.
it. I do.
Remember the first?
I do.
Reformed theology and all.
Well, now, hold on. About this conversation.
Let's talk about the fallenness of man real quick. No, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think it fits in there. It could very well possibly be. It could possibly be.
And let me bust some news on you here, Christian.
Boy.
You ain't stopping this. Like, let me just bust some news on you. You ain't suiting up with your your deer rifle, and you ain't stopping this. This whole thing is going the way it's going in accordance with the plan of the sovereign God. I'm sorry, at your Baptist church, they didn't teach you that God was sovereign, or they taught you or at your Baptist church, they taught you a wrong perspective of the sovereignty of God, as if you could go in and influence his plan that was set from the foundations of the world. I'm sorry no one taught you that. You ain't gonna stop this. It's coming. What ought you to do? You ain't gonna change it. A lot of people say, well, now you're just a nihilistic, you're just telling everybody to give up. You're just hopeless. The scripture tells us when we see these things, look up, because your redemption draws near. We should rejoice when we see these things happening. Rejoice. The end of the age is indeed approaching. It's been approaching.
I mean, you're just hopeless. I mean, yeah, for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I'm.
We can't stomach that, though.
It's like, yeah, who's putting your hope in that this all works out?
Because your hope all along has been in the world. Your hope all along has been in humanity, in the actions and intentions of man. It's where your hope's been all along.
Filthy Baptist.
Hermenic.
Hermenic.
Good night.
Told a joke on an AI podcast.
Corn ain't never even heard the word hermeneutic, son.
I call you a hermenic, though. Somebody using all that crap.
Hermenic.
Good night, man.
Mimi.
Ah,
Worshipping that.
worshiping it. Well, boys, I think we've covered down on this. Hopefully this made some people think, man. That's what it's all about. We appreciate you guys who have tuned in. Drop us a comment if you're listening. Share the show with someone if you're listening. It ain't that dang hard. If you got something out of this, share the show with somebody, man. All right. If you want to go to the next level, join us on Patreon. Go check out BPN. That's please understand. That's how all of this keeps happening. All right? I joke about being rich. I'm not really that rich, man. I hope I'm providing I hope we're sitting down and provide. No, I am really that rich, but I hope we're providing something that makes you guys think. I really do, man. I really do. That when I think about the direction of this podcast, you know what I want. You know where I want this podcast to go. We've done this for so long as a passion project. It's just us. We just sit down. I'm not saying we shouldn't have a good time. We got to have a good time. Everybody should have a good time doing what they're doing, right? Whether you're running a gravel crusher or you're sitting down having a podcast, you got to have a good time. But I want this podcast to be a place that people can come and tune into and know they ain't going to hear a bunch of cussing and acting up and crazy crap, and they can go down the road on their way to work in the morning and maybe hear some discussion around a topic that's going to make people think, make people grow, make people want to draw closer to the Lord. That's what I hope it is, man. Week after week after week. That's what I want to provide to you guys. Because I know when I get up in the morning and I drive to town, it's hard to find something to tune into that I just know is gonna make me think, gonna be valuable, gonna be clean. You know, I can't listen to a bunch of these daggone podcasts because even if it's a good topic, it's just a bunch of just nasty, foul mouth, just
Hermenics.
crazy crap, man.
Yep.
I can't listen to that crap, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So y'all got to help us do that. Love you guys. Enough said.